Hello and welcome to Joyful, the podcast that will help you live a more joyful life. I'm your host, Chloe Markham, and it's my mission to help you find more joy every single day. This podcast is a deep dive into ways to reduce your stress, your overwhelm, anxiety, and that voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, whilst also diving into the methods, philosophies, and protocols that help us live more connected, grounded, and ultimately happier lives. This is about living life on purpose. Without any further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Hey friend, how are you? It is good to catch up with you. Take a breath in. Before we do anything, take a breath in. Hold it at the top and sigh it out. Maybe do one more like that or something else. Shake something off maybe. But, I want you just to arrive because we end up doing so much stuff on autopilot. What is it like to arrive in this moment, whatever you're doing, listening to this podcast? Arrive here, land here. You're good, you're doing fine, it's all good. And even if it isn't right now, it'll work out in ways that you don't even know. Just have a little bit of faith, my friend. Feels like the end of a podcast, but it's the start of a podcast. Hello. How are you? How are you doing? I hope you're well. I am actually recording this episode in a beautiful, I suppose it's like a renovated old building. I don't know. It's my stepsister's paper studio. She's a paper sculptor, and a pretty incredible one. So I'm surrounded by paper flowers and a horse's head made out of paper. It's pretty magical. I am privileged to be looking after her house, her studio, and her little puppy, who's not such a pup, a 10-year-old Frenchie called Eva, for a whole month while she's on holiday. So you might not be here with me in this space, but I feel like you are, and it is nice to be coming at you from here. I'm in the woods and it's raining and yeah, it's nice. I like the rain. Have you met me? Anyway, so this episode, I hate the idea of an episode because I feel like I'm actually just sitting across from my bestie having a cup of tea. And that's not an episode, so why should this be an episode? That's what I hope you feel like when you tune into this. And but I wanted to run by you this concept of renewal. So I have themes in my membership every month, just to keep me somewhat organised. But also it's really great to have us thinking about different things in terms of our own joy and sanity. And I think renewal, so I'm recording this on the 2nd of April and it's springtime, apparently. It's actually 11 degrees today, double figures. It's crazy. And I really like winter and stuff and get quite scared of summer. So I'm a little bit anxious about this movement forward of the seasons, but here we are. But anyway, it's springtime and obviously there's a renewal happening in the seasons and out in nature. And the days are getting longer and it's brighter and all of that. And whether you like the idea or not, or whether you like to admit it or not, we are actually linked, aren't we, to the seasons. And I think we beat ourselves up in winter, especially kind of early winter, when it's like, wait, I was so productive 3 months ago, what the fuck is happening? And or energized, even if you weren't productive. And we go into winter and we kind of berate ourselves because suddenly we want to cozy up all the time and go to sleep for longer. Of course, it's this wintering process that we go through. And in a similar way, when springtime happens, we also get some more energy. We become more revitalized. And so it's a perfect time for us to kind of renew. And I even find the concept or the word renewal interesting because sometimes I suppose it feels like scrap it all and start again. But all that we talk about when we say scrap it all is actually the foundational place for everything else. And, we can talk about regret and do you have regrets in your life? And of course you do. We all do, I suppose. But those terrible things, the hard times, the bad decisions, all of it have brought you to where you are today. And from this place, we can learn and grow and renew, right? So it's almost as if we're taking all of the stuff in the past and using it to support us moving forward. That's what I see as a renewal, rather than starting from scratch or starting afresh. And last summer's growth in these springtime plants outside is helping support them in another year's growth. And I think that's how we should look at this concept of our own growth and renewal. So this month, my friend, I'm talking to myself when I say this, it's a really good month to start some good habits and be really conscious about what we're bringing into our lives and what we're energetically committing ourselves to, And I kind of speak about my morning routine or your morning, or the concept of a morning routine when I say that. Because sometimes, and I love the morning routine, find it on the podcast way back. I don't know, I talked about it a while ago. And can I just, caveat all of that by saying the podcast is a year old as of yesterday, I think. What? Yay, party. I'm doing party hands. You can't see, but party hands. Anyway, I can get stuck in a rut with my morning routine and just do the same thing because that's what I have programmed myself to do. Hello, I am Robot Chloe. I get up in the morning and do these things. And I think actually it's like, what am I doing this for? Is this helping me do things in my life? Am I supported by that? Do I want to do more of it or less of it or add something? And I think, that's kind of what I'm talking about when it comes to my own habits. Maybe it's something else for you. I want to talk about that actually, and different ways of renewal. But renewal really, as the podcast name suggests, is moving us in the direction of being more joyful every damn day, my friend, right? So with that in mind, what are we going to do to renew this month? So I feel like I can start with the morning routine, but this can apply to any kind of habits you've got. I want you to kind of ask yourself where you're at and what's a tiny baby step to shift forward into this new growth season, right? So I suppose it's understanding where you are and what's in need of renewal. So maybe it's your energy levels or your kind of emotional burnout situation, or maybe you're feeling mentally stagnant, or I don't know, lonely, or just crazy stressed and you're putting too much into your work. There's so many things. So I think the first thing we do here, and it's the same with almost everything I talk about, is we start with this introspection. How are you doing? And that's why I start these pods the same way, right? How are you doing? Because it matters. And when we ask each other on the street how we're doing, it's important that we actually take some, maybe not with certain people, but take some time to think about that question and think about how you're asking that question to others. Can we be more vulnerable and open? That seems like a side note, but so I really want to emphasize the importance, before we dive into these self-care rituals that we can use, of self-awareness and introspection. And there's this idea, this process called interoception, where we sit and we feel. If you're a member, check it out. There's an interoception meditation in the library, and I encourage you to use this every day until you get the hang of it, and then you can kind of self-guide. But it's a process of noticing, feeling, what is happening in my body? Where is my awareness at? Where are my emotions at? How is my body doing today? No judgment, no stories, just feeling. And once we've tapped into those feelings and where we're at right now, it's a magical place for us to be like, I'm going to do this, that, and the other to shift myself into feeling more peaceful or calm or energized or vibrant or joyful in some way, right? So that is my number one kind of step for you if you're excited to move into springtime, to move into the springtime of your body and mind and wellness. Check in with yourself, my friend. Check in and give yourself a bit of love, and let's find the baseline. And once we've done that, I think there are really kind of 4 areas of your life, our lives, that we can move into with these renewal, self-caring practices. And we have physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And I keep going back to that morning routine idea. I think that might be better for me because that's where I do all of my stuff. But maybe yours is something else. Maybe it's snatched during the day in your lunch hour. It doesn't matter. So if I say morning routine, please know that it doesn't matter. But let's start with that physical renewal. So of course, movement is such a key here. And I think sometimes we say movement, and especially if you're in a movement rut, it can be a little bit scary, like, oh fuck, I have to start going to the gym or to HIIT classes. And the idea of HIIT classes or even hour-long yoga classes for me sometimes is like, oh God, I have to do this thing. But it doesn't have to be like that. I know that people have kind of educated you all your life into thinking physical stuff is like a horror show in your PE class where you have to wear shorts that don't fit you, and like everyone's got body issues in the changing rooms, and the sports suck and it's horrible and your teacher's mean, and I don't know, it's just a complete shit show. And I have nightmares about this shit now. But it doesn't have to be like that. Go for a walk. Go to the beach. Go for a walk. Oh my God, how rejuvenating is that? Go to the woods, have a walk. Do some movement, like gentle yoga, 20 minutes. Sometimes, most of the time, my practice is less than half an hour. But you do this consistently and it makes a big difference. Let me tell you, it makes a really big difference. So movement, but also with this physical renewal, I really need to emphasize, like hammer home, we need to talk about it more. Rest, baby. Fucking rest. Holy shit, you do so much. Please take a break. Oh my God. And you know what? It needs to be emphasized just so heavily and so much more because society continues to tell us that we get like badges when we work really hard and we work the weekend. Oh my God, you're so dedicated. No, it's not cool. It's not big or clever, okay? And I have to really put the mirror up to myself here because I know I can work to the point of exhaustion. So let's all just take a moment, right? Can we take a vow to ourselves that we're going to rest more? And it's also because it's not spoken about often enough and we haven't been taught these things, it's almost quite vague too. So it's like, oh, it's like eating noodles in front of Netflix. Rest. Not really. Can I just say, not really. I really want you to explore the concept of yoga nidra or NSDR, so non-sleep deep rest. I speak about it all the damn time. You can find more info on other podcast episodes that I've made or on the blog, baby. I've just recently put a yoga nidra on YouTube, so even if you're not a member, please just go and find that nidra because this stuff is profound and it might not seem that way, but it is. It might not seem in the moment or after that it's changed your life, but it does. It's so wonderful. It can affect, your physical health, your gut health, your mental health, the whole gambit. We need it. You need it categorically. Okay. So is that you told? Hope so. So, rest, relaxation, downtime. And of course, eating well, but nutrition is a really, can be a trigger subject. And I am not a nutritionist, but I will just advise you to eat the things that you love in moderation. But things that you love, please don't deny yourself because life is short. And again, holding the mirror up to myself, but it's okay if you have cellulite and it's okay if you're not a size 8. You know, your body is a beautiful, beautiful place. And I hope you treat it as such, my friend. So yeah, eat right, drink loads of water. Maybe a few Baileys now and then. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like physical renewal. That's what it is. Movement, rest, and nourishment. Good food, good hydration. Get your sleep in, baby. So that's what I'm talking about with physical. So for me, I move every morning and I try. And this is where it's hard because yoga nidra doesn't fit into my day every day. But I try my best, and I want you to try your best too. Even just this week after you've listened to this, prioritize a yoga nidra every single day. By the way, the one I threw onto YouTube is 11 minutes, mate. So what's your excuse? Just get cozy. If you don't know what yoga nidra is, by the way, I mean, please listen to another podcast episode where I rant about it for an hour. It's not, I think it's like 20 minutes. But anyway, I exaggerate. You basically go to bed and listen to a guided kind of meditation thing. You like literally curl up into a little comfy nest and nap. It's nice. It's a guided nap. That's all it is. It's a guided nap. And it's fucking wonderful. Please go and do it. So that's what I would like you to do with your physical renewal. Let's move on to emotional renewal. So yeah, there's a lot to this. And I suppose mental is also a similar thing. We'll put the stress in the mental bucket for now. Emotional, I know you're feeling a lot of things probably right now. We live in a world that encourages us to work too hard, feel like we're not enough, and constantly worry about the future. So I hope you're doing okay. And I suppose this is for anyone who's doing a little bit less than okay. And that can be all of us every single day, and that's okay, right? So the key is, the biggest, fattest key here is self-compassion and self-acceptance, giving yourself a break. You know, I talked about interoception at the beginning, this inward feeling, this dive inwardly. How are you doing today? I spoke about not having any judgments or stories, and it's the same here. Are you fucking overwhelmed? Are you stressed? Like anxious every day? Are you nervous going to the supermarket? Are you, I don't know, like it could be anything that maybe you feel bad about, or that you feel you're not good enough because you feel that way and no one else feels that way. So what's wrong with me? People feel that way, babe. People feel that way, and you're not alone, and it's okay. And you need to talk to yourself like you would talk to your bestie about this stuff. It's okay. Give yourself a fucking break. I think we end up kind of compounding all of this stuff that we feel all the time because we feel guilty for feeling it, because everybody on social media doesn't feel this way. So what's wrong with me? Everyone on social media feels this fucking way, and they don't look like that. And social media is a scam. I hate it. Honestly. The more I think about it, the more I want to eradicate social media entirely from my life. But run a business is tricky. Anyway, so number one, be nice to yourself, all right? And I think there's two other things here that are important for your kind of emotional renewal. Engaging in activities that bring you joy, my friend. And I don't mean Netflix, although sometimes a good movie, you know. And also, by the way, I'm speaking as someone who's binged like 5 seasons of Working Moms this week. So no judgment here. But I mean, what brings you joy? Go and fucking do it. Go and do it. Don't think about it. Don't feel embarrassed that you're bad at it. How wonderful, by the way, to be bad at something that you love to do. It's kind of, there's something really juicy about that. And I say that as a terrible violinist of 2.5 years. I suck and I sound like some cat is in some sort of issue, you know. But it's so wonderful to learn. And by the way, to learn these things without the idea of it becoming a side hustle or some sort of money making gig. Nuh-uh. Go and flower arrange because you love to flower arrange, or surf, or make pots, or produce music, even make music. I don't know. Take photos. It doesn't matter. As long as it's not harming anyone, go and do the things that bring you joy. Bake, whatever it is, right? Speaking of baking, I really need some cake right now. Anyway, sorry. So joy. And then the last thing in this emotional renewal is finding people. Not being an island, because no woman's an island. We need people. And I'm so blessed to have some wonderful women. And can I just say, find women? This is so judgmental. I was going to say, find women or gay men. But that's terrible of me, and I'm so sorry if I offended you. But it was so funny because I saw this thing the other day, and it says, the best thing a man can do in his life is find a woman. Either as a relationship or as a best friend situation, because women are so good at emotionally opening up and being vulnerable and supporting each other in this way. Men, not so much. And the best thing a woman can do in her life is to find other women so that she can also have these kinds of emotional connections. And that's what I'm talking about with this emotional renewal thing. No disrespect to men. You guys are brilliant. But I encourage you as a man listening to this to just see if you can be a little bit more emotionally connected if you struggle with that, and to find a good friend who you can do that with. And I mean this across any gender. Like, I'm here for all genders, it doesn't matter to me. You are wonderful regardless of pronouns and how you identify. But I hope this comes across as intended. Find people that you can be emotionally vulnerable with, and who can be emotionally vulnerable with you. And that's a magical process. It's so magical. And oh my God, don't underestimate it. It's so healing. Maybe go and do some fun stuff with your besties. And if you struggle to find besties, because who doesn't in, 30s and up or 20s and up, go and do stuff. Like, enroll yourself in, some classes, or just get out there and meet people. That's the way to do it. I mean, the way we made friends as kids is by being at school with them, right? By being in activities with them. And I think we just have to kind of force ourselves as adults to do activities and to find our adult school friends. I think that's a really important thing to do. So mates, dates, doing things that bring you joy, maybe with the mates. Oh my God, like 2 birds, 1 stone. And just be kind to yourself. So that would be the emotional renewal thing that I would encourage you to practice this month. From emotional, we go to mental. So, you stressed, babe? Because I am. And I think, the mental renewal stuff is kind of mindfulness. It's so easy for us to be stressed all the time and to be overwhelmed all the time. Low level. And our devices, by the way, I haven't put either of my phones, and I say that like a complete privileged prick, don't I? I have a work phone and a personal phone, because boundaries, baby. I'm very lucky because I just didn't silence them until now. My point being, our phones and devices and all of this stuff just continue to pick at us in very small, low-level, cute ways. It's only a puppy video, but actually it's quite sinister, I think. It just... social media police calling in again. But no, they really cause this low-level stress all the time. Ping, ping, it's like a little trigger to our nervous system to react. So whether you're aware of that or not, sometimes we get so stressed, we don't know. It's like the boiling lobster in a pot thing. We get in the cold water, and we don't notice until it's boiling that it's getting hotter. And I think that's the same with our mental health so often. We don't notice that there's a problem until we have some sort of breakdown, or throw things, or have a reaction to something that's perhaps a little bit over the top. And then only then we notice. So that's why this interoception is so important. So we go inwards and we actually ask ourselves, how am I doing? Am I okay? What's going on here? Do I have low level stuff going on? So in terms of mental renewal, I really encourage meditation practice and breath work. This is the stuff talking about my morning routine. This is the stuff is like my mainstay of my morning routine. And meditation it's so interesting. Please go to my blog where I've written about the idea of perfect meditation. But really, like, it's not about quieting your mind or, finding space between your thoughts necessarily. All it is, and it's fucking brave to sit and do this, is to sit and to notice what you're doing and what you're thinking and what you're feeling and how your body's doing. Again, we talk about that interoception thing. It's kind of the same, but we're just allowing it all to come to us. You just sit. Notice. Where's your mind going off to? Isn't that fascinating? Okay, I'm going to bring it back to maybe my breath right now. Cool. How am I feeling? Oh, yeah, my brain's gone off again. That's interesting. Bring it back. No stories, no judgments. It's all good. Just bring it back. And we're teaching ourselves focus and understanding and clarity. These are all incredible tools. Like I was in quite a toxic relationship for a while, and this is when I started my morning routine. I felt like I had to take some control, and and yeah, it's so funny. I don't know if I've ever admitted on here that it was toxic. Maybe I did, but anyway, yeah. I started the morning routine then, and I really found that it was a profound influence on the way that I could handle the stuff happening in my life. I was so much more patient and tolerant and calm, and my brain was less fuzzy. Yeah, clarity, baby. It's a magical thing. So don't overlook meditation. Again, seems simple. You can do 5-10 minutes every morning. And hey, if every morning right now is like, what the fuck, this is intense, don't do it every morning right now. And also, I'm throwing so much at you, and it can feel super overwhelming. We just take one thing at a time, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, so I would encourage you to meditate. I mean, the mental renewal is similar to the emotional renewal, similar to the physical renewal, especially the rest, the yoga nidra stuff. But yeah, try and be more mindful about simple things, doing your dishes, or like tying your shoelaces, getting on public transport, or little things in your day. See if you can be more mindful of them. See if you can check in with yourself more often. How are you doing? And maybe you start to notice from there these limiting beliefs that come up. Maybe it's around your self-worth, or maybe it's around your business or your work career, or I don't know, anything. I'm leaving that out there. That's an interesting concept. So let's move on quickly. Oh my God, we're in a rush. No, we're going to move on slowly, baby. How are you doing right now? You all right? Do you need another sip of your tea? I gotcha. So the last in this little 4-step thing is spiritual. The word spiritual makes me want to be sick on myself a little bit. I was listening to, and I really encourage you guys to do this. If you're into ghost stories, Danny Robbins is great. Both my bestie and my boyfriend recommended me listen to it, and I did, despite the fact that I scare very easily. Wow, so fascinating. Anyway, I was listening to him the other day talking about Ouija boards and the kind of spiritualistic, I suppose, context in which Ouija boards kind of came out, right, and were created. And I think it was Victorian times, right? And you could go to a spiritualist to speak to the dead, in inverted commas. I don't necessarily believe in this stuff. I'm quite skeptical. But nevertheless, this was a thing. And so I think there's ties to the word spiritual, there's ties to that. You know, there's obviously ties to religion, and I'm not religious either. So that's why it makes me shudder a tiny bit. But yeah, if you're trying to find meaning in that word spiritual, for me, it's about nature, right? And finding purpose and meaning. And yeah, please go back through my pods. I've said this so often in this episode. Oh my god. Please go back though and listen to my life, what do I call it? Life's purpose or something. Your life mission, I think. Yeah, life mission. Because that sense of, it's wild that we call it spiritual. Because what does that even mean? Like, we're not talking to the dead. We're not talking to a god. Or even the universe. We're talking to ourselves. So I find it quite interesting. Anyway, what is your life's mission? What is your purpose? What are you going to do to better the world? And I think that is something to explore this month as we renew with the seasons. Like, what are you here for? What's going to help you feel like your life has more meaning and more purpose? Maybe it's volunteering or doing something different at work, or, I don't know, even donating or creating a garden. That's really nice, like caring for something. And nature is such a big part of that, right? Because we are intrinsically linked to the natural world. Despite the fact we've built ourselves into these boxed, like, plastic containers, and we use hand sanitizer every 2 seconds, and, you know, we're knocking down forests to build fucking train lines or whatever, you know, and destroying the planet, obviously. We are a part of the world, this natural world. The breath that we're breathing is a direct result of green leafy things photosynthesizing. Like, how magic is that? How magical is that? And we get vitamin D from being outside, and we get nourishment from eating veggies from the ground. And I think even gardening, getting dirt under our nails, is beneficial for us biologically and what do I mean? Gutly. Stuff in your gut. It's great. It's really good for us. So try and get outside more. Try and do more things outside. Bodies of water are soothing for us psychologically, you know. Oh, it's magical. Nature is magical. Whether you're scared of bugs like me or not, like, just go outside. Please go outside. There's not as many flies and spiders as you think if you're averted to it. Averted? You know what I mean. So that would be my spiritual renewal thing. And I think as well, if we're talking about good sleep and good circadian rhythm stuff, getting outside in the first hour of your day and soaking up some sunlight is wildly beneficial for your circadian rhythm. So win-win, right? So that's part of sometimes my morning routine. So that would be my mission for you, right? Is to think about physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual renewal as we shift into blooming spring. And I mentioned a while back on this episode about how much stuff I've just thrown at you. Here's 25 new habits you can start today. Great. I'm not going to do any of them because what the fresh hell is this? I'm so overwhelmed as it is. This isn't helping, and it won't help. And so anyone giving you habits to jump on all at once, you know, we're just rendering them ineffective. So what I want you to do, the mission from this episode, is to take one of these habits right now and try and do them for a week or 2 weeks. Just that single thing. Maybe it's 5-10 minutes of meditation in the morning. Maybe it's movement in the morning, or getting outside in the morning, or whatever. Do one thing. Try and find your habit. And once you've nailed it and you're feeling good about it, you can add habits on. Like, you know, then we can build from there. And there's this idea as well, as we start to build better habits, that it should be perfect, because everybody else that meditates every day and it's so perfect, and they have this little kind of shrine in their house that's exactly right for meditation, and the cushions go with their decor and all of this shit, and it's bullshit. Honestly, it really is. It's just marketing tactics, whether they're a content creator or a business. It's all just crap to make us consume more content, to make us eventually buy something in the end. And it's just really that's why, again, social media police, I just don't like it, because it makes us feel like we're not good enough. And that's why I don't like it. It makes you feel like you're not doing enough when you fucking are, babe. So your meditation practice, whatever these habits are that you're trying to build, give yourself a break. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you skip a day, if you skip 5 days or a week, 2 weeks, it doesn't matter. Just get back on the horse. It doesn't matter that you skip a day or you have time off or it doesn't look right or you were fidgety or you didn't do it perfectly or it didn't look good on Instagram. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My yoga nidra practice is so sporadic, but I know how valuable it is. And when I practice it, it's the best thing ever. But I don't beat myself up when I miss a day or 3 or 5. It's okay, right? So we're going back to the fundamentals of this shit, right? Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Time constraints might be a thing too, but I'm talking 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes a day. And I just want to wrap this up by going back to what I spoke about at the beginning. It's about you becoming a more connected, vibrant, healthy, capable, loving, and ultimately joyful individual, so that you can live a life that feels really fucking good, where you don't have doubts, where you've got confidence and clarity, and you get fizzy often, and you feel good, and you have tools for when you don't feel good, right? Compassionate and resilient and kind and open. All of these things just make life worth living. And sometimes it's not easy to get us there, but when we do, it makes absolutely everything else in our lives better. And I'll dive into my story of like resilience and going from darkness to light another time. But just know that you can do it. If you're feeling darkness right now, I believe in you. Don't give up. And there are solutions out there to problems, the problems you're facing right now, solutions that you can't even imagine, that your brain isn't capable of conjuring up right now. We just got to lean back a little bit, and have some faith. It's all going to be good. So I hope you enjoy this process of renewal in April. I think my focus of renewal, the thing I'm doing for myself, is gratitude on a morning, like way more gratitude, because I write down, by the way, get my joy journal, because this is going to be really supportive in this process of habits and being intentional with your morning and evening routine. My joy journal is exactly what I do every day, and you can get it in the TYR shop. I'll put a link below. But sometimes I just write down like 3 things. Yes, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. Yeah. And then I go about my day, but I haven't actually kind of felt the feeling of gratitude. I haven't lent into, oh my God, how good is my life with this person or this thing in it? And it's actually the feeling. So that's my mission anyway, to lean into the feeling more, to sit with those things I'm grateful for more, and to be like, blow my mind with gratitude every morning. Like, fucking hell, this is brilliant. What am I complaining about? My life is absolutely blessed. I am a lucky motherfucker. So that is what I'm adding to my morning routine this month. And let me know what you are doing. If you're inspired, if you're excited to do some magical stuff. I am so inspired and excited about your magical stuff too. So please share with me. You can email me, Chloe at theyogarevolution.co.uk. Can you reply to podcast episodes? I don't know, but if you can, please reply to me because I love this shit. And I'm going to close with my good to be alive moment right now, good to be alive thing that makes my life worth living. You know what it is? I told you I'm in my sister's paper studio. I'm looking at a slightly iridescent paper jellyfish, life size. And it's so magical. It's like lacy. I'll take a picture maybe. I don't know where I'll share it with you. Join my Joy Collective. I'll share it with you. Again, I'll put a link in the show notes. But that is my... Oh my God, isn't it good to be alive when humans can make fucking beauty out of paper? Trees, paper. Oh, magic, nature, baby. I love this shit. Thank you for tuning into this episode, my friend. I will see you next time. Have a beautiful day. Loads of love. Thank you so much for listening, my friend. I hope you're feeling sparkly and inspired to live a more joyful life. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a rating. These things are invaluable to me, and share it with people who need it. This is about inspiring more people to be more connected and lead happier and more joyful lives. Join my inner circle for more inspiration. Learn more at the website theyogarevolution.co.uk and chloemarkham.co.uk. I'll see you in the next episode.